Fabulous. Let's get started with our presentation today. I am going to be talking to you a little bit about the polls, and the reason we're going to do this is because some of this information is, I think, will be interesting for you to know, and also we are approaching November elections. So let's get started with the PPIC poll. Again, the issue of housing is one of the biggest, if not the biggest issue of affordability in California, especially on the coastal areas. At about 70% of the voters telling us that, or telling PPIC that housing is of utmost importance. And the rest of California, 50% of them think the same way. The Berkeley poll. Javier Becerra is leading Hilton by a margin of about 20 points. That's a huge margin between Becerra and Hilton. Just wanted you to be aware of that. Again, another Berkeley poll. Voters in this poll, they lean towards no on California voter ID. That's Prop 39 that will show up on your ballot measure or on your ballots. And they lead on Billionaire Tax Proposition 40. In other words, Billionaire Tax, although not by much, but has the lead. People are voting, well, the people are telling us that they'll be voting for it. Now, it's important for you to know that CAOR has opposed the Billionaire Tax. As of March, there was another poll that raises the information about basically why it's being, a lot of people are voting for, polling for the billionaire tax. Now, I don't want to talk about socialism because the evidence is not overwhelming as of today, and what effects that will have on the economy and what have you. But you need to be aware of this poll as well. And that, by the way, includes about 65% of the Republicans that support the billionaire tax, right? And this is why it is important to, when you look at the Berkeley poll, you see why the billionaire tax is getting that kind of a support in California. As far as housing is concerned, again, we've known this for years. We've talked about this, that one of the reasons why especially young Americans and young Californians are having issues is the affordability of housing. And that, by the way, manifests itself into a lot of different kind of vacuums that results, and again, I don't want to talk about it prematurely, into attitudes about socialism. I want to take a moment and talk to you about the capital gains reform because there is some movement in that space and it's important for you to be aware of it. This is an important issue to us as realtors because we know that currently the way that it's set up at $250,000 exclusion for single filers and $500 for married filers or joint filers, you know, this has got a lock-in effect on sales of properties. And we do know that if there is any reform, whether it's indexing to inflation and or changing the limits, it's going to make a difference. There will be a lot more owners that will decide to sell, the inventory will rise, and of course sales activity will go up, right? NAR states, and I just read this, by the way, about maybe 3 or 4 days ago, that there is some interest right now in White House as far as reforming the capital gains is concerned. Nevertheless, NAR supports a bipartisan movement and or effort on this. CAR also states that it is drawing this bipartisan effort is drawing more and more lawmakers right now between the House and the Senate we have about 174 lawmakers, and again on bipartisan basis, that are interested in reforming this. So, is this going to happen tomorrow? No. We've been working on this thing as far as advocacy on national level for about 2 or 3 years now. Will it happen next year? Who knows? But having said that, this effort continues going on, and they keep picking up support as they move forward. I bring this up because in Glendale, and I'm going to share this with you so you know what the effect would be for our city, in city of Glendale. In the mid-range, it would generate an additional 100, about 100 transactions, equaling to about 150 million, by the way, right? Every year on annual basis. On the upper range, it'll be higher. On the lower range, a little bit lower. So capital gains, this is a study that, by the way, folks, we did back in July last year. And we shared that with the LGLR and your board of directors. So capital gains does have a significant effect in our city, in the city of Glendale. Now, imagine if you were to put Pasadena and Burbank together in Tri-City, whom are members, all of them practice and what have you. I mean, the effect would be enormous. So having said that, I wanted you to be aware of that. This is another way of showing the chart that in Glendale will generate additional transactions if and when Capital Gains Reform Act takes place. This all will happen. By the way, the Senate and the House bill are pretty similar, and it's under the More Homes on the Market Act as we talk about. With that, that ends my presentation. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Greg. Does anyone have any questions for Greg?
Carmen has a question. Carmen?
Yes, good morning. It's not a question, more of a piece of information that I wanted to share with you. In June, we had a meeting at the Capitol Hill with Congresswoman Laura Friedman's staff, and the issue of capital gains, HR 1340, is one of the items that we discussed with her staff. All the lawmakers were absent during that time, so we were meeting with the staff, and the feeling there is that they're, at least as far as Representative Friedman's concerned, that in its current form as it's presented, it's not something that can be easily supported. And I'm thinking that the reason for it is because if they were to double the capital gains exclusions, it will have a major budget effect. And when the budget is affected, then there will be cuts. And where will the cuts come from? Social programs. And that's not something that perhaps some of the Democratic lawmakers are all for. However, they were suggesting that if there were some changes in it or some form of it, if it was presented, it would be more palatable. You know, maybe an indexing option, or maybe putting an age cap or number of years of ownership cap, something like that. Again, we are going to meet with Representative Friedman herself, hopefully next week. And this is one of the top items that we have to discuss. I mean, we are diligently working on it, trying to see if we can get some traction there. But I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
By the way, for the rest of you to know, Carmen acts as Glendale Association of Realtors and our region's representative on federal level. She is the key contact for Representative or Congresswoman Friedman.
Thank you, Carmen, and thank you, Greg. With that, we will go to our CEO report.